Hello everyone, welcome to English Now. Our today's topic is personal pronoun. Part 1 we will discuss in today's video, and part 2 we'll discuss the next week because the video will be longer otherwise. So the part 1 will have the first section. The video will be useful for people learning and practicing English and anyone who's learning English and making their English better. So let's start the video with reading the following sentences. I am young. I am young. Over here the word you have to focus will be I am young. We are young. You are young. They are young. Or he, she, it is young. So you can see we, you, they, these are personal pronouns. He, she, it are also part of it. So what are personal pronouns really? Words like I, we, you, he, she, it, they are called personal pronouns. They're used in place of people. So initially when we talk about any person, we have introduced them in sentence, and after that we use these words as personal pronouns. They're used in place of people. They are of three types, the persons. So let's talk about that. Which are the persons? First person is always the speaker who is speaking. For example, he and we. Now when I say speaker, you have to understand that conversation is happening between three people or two people. The second person is the speaker. First person is the speaker. Second person is the listener. For example, you are listening. And the person who is being spoken to, it means you, whom we are talking to. And the third person is others, whom we are talking about. The third person, the other person. For example, he, she, it, or they. The person or thing being talked about, the third person. So if I'm talking to you, I'm the first person, you are the second person, and if we are talking about someone else, for example Mohit, who's our friend, then that person will be the third person. You is used for one person and many people. So you is used in both the cases, singular noun and plural noun. This is how you is used. So let's talk about an easy trick to remember these. I and we is always used for the speaker as the first person. You is used for the listening person or the listener, and he, she, or they are always the third person, talking about someone else, the third person or the other person. Now what the third person is, third person pronouns. Let's talk about that in detail. The pronouns he, she, and they are used for the person or people we are talking about, the third person. If you and I are having a conversation about third person, for example Mohit, who's our common friend, then Mohit will be the third person if we are using pronoun for him, for example he. So he, she, and they are called the third person personal pronouns. The word it is used for things and not for people, but it is also a third person personal pronoun. So it is actually used for a non-living thing or for some animals. If gender is not that important and we're using it, then we can use it in that case. Actually, third person personal pronouns are a bit like demonstrative pronouns, but we still call them personal pronouns in grammar. Now let's talk about forms of personal pronouns. Which are the forms of personal pronouns? First person, as we know that this person is always the speaker. In singular noun, we have certain sections. For nominative section, it can be I. Possessive pronoun can be my or mine in the first person singular. And for accusative pronoun, it can be me. Accusative is also the object whom we are talking about. Possessive is always something that belongs to, and nominative is the subject. So subject is I. Possessive or belonging to can be my or mine, and accusative or object, it can be me. In the plural noun, it can be, the nominative one can be we. Possessive can be our or ours, and accusative or objective can be us. So this is how it is used. Now we are talking about second person, who's the listener. It always remains same for singular and plural. In the nominative case, nominative pronoun, the subjective one, it can be you. For possessive, it can be your or yours. And for accusative or objective, it can be you. And after this comes third person, the other person. The other person we are talking about, the third person. In the singular noun, for the masculine gender, it can be he, his, or him. For example, in the case of Mohit, if we're talking about him, we can refer to him as he. He is going to the market. Mohit is going to the market. For the feminine gender, it can be she, her, hers, or her. And for neuter gender, or the things we are talking about, it can be it, its, or it. In the plural noun, for all genders, it can be they, their, theirs, or them. Now, let's talk about an important note. Two possessive forms. Most pronouns have two possessive forms. Most of the pronouns have two possessive forms. My, our, your, her, their. When used before a noun, they are called possessive form of adjective. Possessive adjective. My, our, your, her, their. They are used just before noun. At that time, they are called possessive adjective. For example, this is my book. Now, book over here is a noun and my is a pronoun, which has been used just before the noun book. So, over here, it will be possessive adjective. And same thing goes with your. Those are your books. Before books, the pronoun your has been used. So, this will also be possessive adjective. Now, let's talk about these words. Mine, ours, yours, hers, theirs. When they're used alone, they will be called as possessive pronouns. Remember, they will be used alone. For example, this book is mine. Now, mine, this pronoun has been used alone, so this will be possessive pronoun. Same thing goes with yours. Those books are yours. Yours has also been used alone, so this will also be possessive pronouns. They are also called pronominal adjectives when used before nouns. These words, as we knew, that they're used alone, but sometimes when they're used before noun, they're called pronominal adjectives. Why adjective? Because we all know while reading the chapter of adjective, they're used before noun. So these pronouns, when we use them before adjective, they will become adjective, and pronominal because they're actually a pronoun. So pronominal adjective. Now let's talk about what a pronominal adjective is. A pronominal adjective is a word that functions as a pronoun when standing alone, but acts as an adjective to modify a noun. So when they're standing alone, they will be a pronoun, but when they come before a noun, they'll be functioning as adjective. For example, this, that, my, your, or some. They're often used to define, possess, or quantify nouns and are closely related to demonstrative, possessive, and indefinite pronouns. So they are called pronominal adjectives. This, that, my, your, some. These are the words that we use to define, possess, or quantify nouns when we use them before a noun and are closely related to which thing? Demonstrative, possessive, and indefinite pronouns. You can watch this video twice or thrice for even clearer concept. Now, this was our part 1 of personal pronoun. Part 2 of personal pronoun, again, we'll talk about that part in the next video. That's all for today's video. How did you like? You can share your thoughts and comments down in the comment box. What else do you want to watch? You can share that as well. We'll meet again the very next week with part 2 of the same chapter, the same concept, personal pronoun, part 2. So until then, take care and thank you for watching.